and other Yoruba kings that want Nigeria to remain one join Tinubu at Kaduna today. The ex-Lagos State Governor and national leader of APC, Ahmad Tinubu, visited Kaduna State as the chairman of the 11th edition of the annual Arewa House Lecture Series held at Kaduna today. When Bola Ahmad Tinubu was delivering speech in Kaduna on Saturday as the chairman of the 2021 Sardauna Memorial Lecture held in honor of one of Nigeria's founding fathers, late Sir Amadu Bello, he said Nigeria's economy under Buhari remains weak with high unemployment rate. He advised the state and local government leaders to provide jobs for Nigerian youth in the respective states and local government areas. I mean, he says the conventional thing as he should say, because obviously he's trying to, ask from permission for where the power lies for whatever ambition he has in 2023, to be honest. But again, he's going to give his speech about all that and, the cliche things, basically. Some Yoruba kings who want Nigeria to be one joined Bola Tinubu at Kaduna during the house lecture. Oba Abdulrasheed Adewale Akambi was among the Yoruba kings that joined Bola Tinubu in Kaduna today, and also other kings, and obviously their photos all together. I mean, I think it was at this event that Tinubu actually fell. And it might be funny, but you know what? That was deserved, because you can't... How can he fall? How? But again, I think the video was trending in this meeting where he actually fell. To be honest, whatever I think of that, it doesn't do anything. But the fact is, this man has the audacity and the temerity, I always repeat that, to go... See, it is the regard of the people. Because first, before he even tries to serenade the actual voters, I mean, we know it's going to be rigged at the end of the day. But instead of him to actually serenade the actual voters, he's going to where the power lies, because he understands with the dynamics of how power works in Nigeria, the North holds it. And so it just is what it is at this point. I mean, all this is... It just proves to Nigerians that this man cannot be trusted, no matter what his history is, how he was a governor, You see, you know what? It's in the past, okay? It is in the past. It is in the past. So what? We move. So it's like, but the thing is, we're not going to move with somebody like him. That is the main thing. Somebody says, any Obas in Yoruba land that will still support Tinubu is a big fool. And those are the problem of Yoruba land, and they will all see what will end them, idiots people called Obas. Okay, fine. I don't mean to take a jab at the Yoruba people, but I think let's give some historical context here, because the Obas and in the Yoruba land and their relation to sort of betrayal and all that really starts when the British or the Portuguese tried to invade. Because what happened was, there's a king and his father's brother, which is his uncle, were basically fighting for the kingship position. And so, long and short of the story was that the way Lagos got invaded was because the uncle, you need to go fact check this, but the uncle sided with external forces to fight his nephew, and of course the external forces and that influence obviously won, and so the Yorubas actually fled away from Lagos State. Actually, we're basically a code, because Lagos is not necessarily the original name of Lagos State. So that was how the Yoruba land was actually one of the first regions in present-day Nigeria to actually be invaded, and it all came back to kings and the royalties just fighting for power. And I'm thinking this just shows the parallels in this case, even though yes, it's old, but it just shows the parallels in how these Yoruba kings are coming again to betray their own people. For what? For what? If anything, we should even trust. I mean, who can we even trust? It's Nigeria. But if anything, it's even more of an insult when kings are joining in this. I don't even know what to call it. And that just shows that the parallels in terms of that selfishness and fight for power that overrides the people is one of the reasons as to how we got invaded, because it's that little door. And of course this has now continued and it has refined into now these Yoruba kings are going into the northern part of the country to go and ask for endorsement because they understand that that's where the power lies. Does it make sense? Because again, Nigeria is not just where it is today. It has been refined through our history, and so we have to take that and understand the parallels of what is happening currently. That's all I have to say about it. I think it is absolutely sad, but not surprising because this betrayal and the relations with Obas of the Yoruba land was basically how Lagos State, or technically Eko, was basically invaded. So it's like, if it started from then, it's like, why would this be surprising now? And let's see another person's comment. Odudu and other Yoruba ancestors are watching Obas stand to betray and sell their sons and daughters Yoruba land Hausa to the Fulanis. Oduduwa, I know you will not spare any of those Obas and the greedy politicians who went to foreign land to negotiate and sell off Yoruba land. Your agents, Sango, Olukoso, okay, and all these gods would judge them accordingly. I mean, it's sad, but I think the Yoruba people have to rise and hold their Obas accountable. Like, nobody is above dragging. Okay, if you're in a position of power and you're not doing your job, the people have every right to drag you, because you cannot be making decisions about the futures of people, and you make decisions that do not make sense, and you expect the people to just be quiet. But then the thing is, Nigerians have a history of just talking and not doing anything. So the confidence that they have to continue like this is because they understand that from history and consistently, the Nigerians, they do not fight. The fear is too much. I don't understand what the fear is coming from, because again, the potential that you can live better and set a trend for your generations to come should be a much greater motivation for you to not even fear anything. And that fear comes from our selfishness, because we're not willing to fight for our own. Shows how much self-hatred we have, shows how much the lack of love is, and shows how much how divided we are as a people. At the end of the day, until the Yoruba people actually step up and be like, we're not gonna have this. I mean, they are already, to be honest, with Sunday Igboho leading these conversations and leading the fight for Yoruba self-determination. That is good, but it is not enough. It is not enough to carry change. And I think the NSAS process is something that I look back on and I'm like, what, that is good, because when people changed it for the government, the incompetency and the hidden agendas of the government literally came out, because they could not help themselves but embarrass themselves. And so it's like, I see that as a time in Nigeria's history where we did not care because enough was enough. But the thing is, we got to that point because we had not been active before. Because at the end of the day, if somebody does something to you the first time and you let it happen, you give them even more of a confidence to continue it again. And so the NSAS protest was, I think it's a lesson we should learn, that we should not, although it was good, but what we can also learn is that we should not wait too late to actually make change. Because again, it was getting to a point where people were dying because we kept quiet for too long, and it got worse. So again, with situations like this, it's better to start early and cut it from the roots so it doesn't even try to grow. That's what I believe. But again, are you surprised that Tinubu is doing all this? Absolutely not. Are you surprised that the Obas are doing this when they have a history of betrayal? You can't make these things up. But it is what it is. Put your comments in the comment section below, and do not forget to like and subscribe.